Hi everyone, my name is Stefan, working for Inter.link. In case you don't know us, we are present in the UK. We have lots of people in the UK. But this talk is not about marketing. This talk is not about us in general. It's more about, well, we did something in our network. We messed up and we did a huge route leak while discovering a fun Arista bug. And this is what I'm talking about. This talk is not about us blaming someone. It's not about someone blaming someone doing something wrong. This is more about, well, I know we all do mistakes here and there. We encounter bugs, and I think it's important to talk about this because if we don't talk about this, we cannot learn. And this is about knowledge sharing so that you don't make the same mistake or run into the same bug. So now my microphone is dead, not anymore. Everyone is doing their share part to keep, everyone is doing their part of the job of keeping the internet safe. So everyone is checking for RPK invalids in here. I don't see you, so I assume everyone is nodding and saying yes. Everyone is filtering based on AS sets, I guess. Still don't see you. And everyone is having max prefix limits configured, probably, or hopefully. Just in case something goes wrong, you have some safe nets. Well, turns out not everyone is doing this, especially not all of our downstreams, which kind of is okay, but probably shouldn't. They should filter as well. Not every tier 1 is doing proper filtering, especially one with Swedish roots. Not to mention any names. And if you freak up on the internet, people will notice very, very fast. So this talk is about a bug. We are very sorry that our devices didn't do what we told them to do. This is a fun story about Arista routing control functions, RCF. I learned that RCF is not specific to Arista. Others do this as well, but this is about us using Arista devices. And this is about a specific bug you see at the bottom. So what is RCF? RCF is route control functions. It's a language that can be used to express route filtering and attribute modification logic in a powerful and programmatic fashion. Obviously, this is not my text. I copied this from somewhere. So it's a language you can use to do magic on your devices. We use RCF to control BGP sessions and to apply filters to them. So we check for prefix lengths, control BGP sessions and communities, control flow spec rules, set the next hop, check for bogans, drop RPK invalids, check AS prefixes and then path lists, and filter for tier 1 paths. So everything you would probably do in route maps on different vendors and so on, we do this in RCF. This is what our typical RCF configuration would look like for BGP peers. So you have a BGP configuration for one IP, and then we applied a in and outbound function to those sessions, and this was named after the IP protocol and the AS number, and then it's one for in and one for out. And this was fine until some ASN wanted to have multiple BGP sessions on the same device with different configs, like one session with the default route, one without the default route, and another session with a different ASN set. And if you took it like I showed you before, you could not do this because all the sessions would have the same RCF functions. So we thought, okay, let's rename all the functions. The new function should then include the IP version, include the peer IP, and the BGP session type or function, like peering or flow spec or whatever. And to do this, we had to give them proper names. And to do this, again, we had to do some string manipulation because function names, well, function names, if you want to have special characters in function names, it's never a good idea. So we had to do some string manipulation because IPs have dots in them. And some people even use colons in their IPs. I don't know who does that. And that's what we came up with. So the new sessions had a function like flow spec, or just the IP version, then the ASN number, then the IP, and then there was one for in and one for out. So this gives us then the ability to have specific functions for each and every BGP session. And then all we had to do was apply the functions to BGP sessions. We do this by generating a config via Ansible, copy the config to the device, get a configuration session on the device, copy the generated config over the current config, generate the diff, do a configuration checkpoint, and then commit the new config with a commit timer. And then we just had to apply the config. This is not working. This is not working. This is still not working. Is this working? This one is working now. I will use this one. So once we had the config, we just had to apply the config. And, well, just applying. What could go wrong, right? Just apply the new config. And this is what happened. In case you don't notice and you haven't seen this, you're lucky. If you have seen it, it basically shows that you were just route leaking everything and everyone to everyone else. And the world was totally screwed. So my phone was ringing all the time, because whenever we have something happening to our AS set or AS number, or someone in the world announcing stuff that belongs to us, I get an alert. And this was obviously not good. Everyone, or some people even complained in this room, reached out to my people using Slack, the NetUK Slack and whatever. So what happened? So the expected behavior, according to the vendor, which was Arista in this place, was whenever you rename an RCF function, they would expect the following things to happen. You push the new config, the new RCF configuration, then the RCF agent will compile the new function. And while this is happening, they would expect that the BGP session pointing to a non-compiled function would just return null, and during the compilation time, reject all the routes. And once this is done, this should come back and everything should work. So this is the expected behavior. And by the way, I left this. This is the original answer we got from the vendor, which is fine. I left it on so you can actually read what they replied. And this is what actually happened. So the RCF agent was compiling. BGP was using the new function names. So it was like expected. Then they showed into an undefined whatever because it wasn't compiled yet, also expected. And then happened something that we didn't expect. So some of the BGP sessions now were actually pointing to something which belonged to other BGP sessions, and especially, I would say, especially those BGP sessions going to IXPs and tier ones now got everything we had, and then they didn't filter, so we were out leaking all over the world. If you want to read the real output that's in the slide will be published. Obviously, we tested this before. So at this time, we had about 34 POPs in 15 countries. There were 17 devices, and some of those devices just had a few customers. Some had many customers, and some devices had customers, IXPs, and upstreams as well. And once we hit a device where everything was mixed, then it got worse. So in the beginning, we saw no impact. We obviously started at lower populated devices, and we didn't see any impact at all. So we continued rolling out the change and just renaming RCF functions, which shouldn't have any impact. And sometimes there was an alert, and sometimes there was not. And it took a while into figuring out what happened. So this was really painful. The workaround or fix, this is what officially Arista supplied as a workaround or fix at this time while debugging this. So they were really fast and helping us out and telling us, okay, there's probably a bug somewhere, please use this. And we decided to, instead of just rolling it out, is drain the sessions and rename the function and then undrain the sessions so that there would not be impact for customers and especially no impact for the rest of the internet, like all of you. It took a while, but Arista actually supplied very fast a fix for this. So this bug is fixed in the mentioned versions you see on the screen. I'm sharing this because I think most of the people Well, if they install hardware somewhere, they use just one version, just one firmware version, and they rarely touch it because you never touch a running system, you don't do upgrades. So chances are that if you're running one of the older versions for Arista EOS, you might have this bug in your system. And if you ever have to rename RCF functions, you might hit this bug. If you're like us and always running the latest and greatest because you need all the new features, then you're probably safe. But just look it up. If you think about renaming RCF functions, take my word, you will probably have a problem. So again, we are very sorry that our devices didn't do what we told them to do. It will probably happen again because we actually run always very, very last versions of software, and sometimes they're just bugs. And I think things happen. That's not a problem, but sharing this with you and sharing this in the community so everyone is aware, I think that's important, and we should actually do this even more. That's my talk. That's the lightning talk.
Does anybody have any questions for Stefan? Do you want to come over to the microphone?
I actually don't see anything of you. It's just white light.
Does this work? Oh, it does. Greg Chewell's ISC, so nothing to do with the work that I do. It just occurred to me whilst you were talking. Is it possible to create the new functions and get them compiled before you actually want to use them?
Yes.
Right. So that is a possible mitigation.
Yes.
Right.
That's the first thing they told us to do. Just send it to the system, let it compile, and then change the function name. That's also possible. Yeah.
Any further questions? Well, I have one. How quickly did everything start to explode when you were hitting this bug? Was it an instant thing, or did it just build up over time?
It built up over time at the beginning. So we deployed it to lowly populated devices, and we didn't see anything happening. And then when we hit a device where it had customers and probably IXPs and the tier ones at the same time, directly after committing. So my phone was like buzzing all the time because BGP tools was telling me, hey, there's something wrong. So whenever it hit a bug, it went really, really fast. And then the fun thing is, it then, we leaked all the routes, and a few seconds later, after compiling, it was gone. So there was not even time finding the bug, which was really not a nice thing to do.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Stefan.
Yeah.